And happy holidays, everyone, from Irving MacArthur High School. It's a District 6-6A matchup as the Lady Cards of Mac line up against the Lady Vikings of Irving Nimitz. Hello, everyone. John Nelson along with Rob Willman. Our first look at Nimitz, our first look at MacArthur. The Lady Cardinals last year, 24-11. They finished fourth in the district, a playoff team at 9-5. But 24 consecutive wins over their arch rival coming into this contest in 2018. Nimitz comes in averaging 40 points a game, giving up 47. Lady Vikings at 6-9, 0-3 in district play. Lady Cards averaging 57 points a game. Mendoza, Gomez, Wilson, Gonzalez, and Faulkner, your starting five for Irving Nimitz. Andrews is back. Newsom, Broussard, Piper, and Francis, a starting five for head coach Susie O. Lady Cards averaging 57 points a game, allowing 45. 12-7 overall, undefeated in the district at 3-0. They come in having won 7 in a row. Good shooting team from the field, hitting 43%. Their varsity roster this year comprised of 3 seniors, 3 juniors, 4 sophomores, and a couple of freshmen. At home this year, the Lady Cards are 4-5. On the road, a little better at 8-2, and it is good to have Sarah Andrews back. If you're a Irving MacArthur fan, a 5'7" junior, an immediate impact, having recovered from her injury. As she scored 28 points last week against Coppell. Lady Cards coming off a 79-31 win over the Lady Tigers of Irving. Starting five being introduced. Nimitz coming off a loss to Flower Mound, 54-26. On the road this year, the Lady Vikings are 3-6. They're coached by Angela Evans in her 3rd year. And Susie O in year number 33. 800 wins and counting for the veteran coach. Lady Vikings have 4 seniors, 3 juniors, a couple of sophomores, and 1 freshman this year. They were 2-12. They struggled last year in the district. There's the head coach here at Irving Mac. And just about ready to get this one underway. District game number 4 for both squads. We mentioned the Lady Cards hitting a sizzling 43% from the field. Decent 3-point shooting team. Lady Vikings come in hitting 37% from the field. Coach Evans has coached at Nimitz since 2009. Angela in her 3rd year as a head coach. They come in averaging 16 turnovers a game. The Lady Cards averaging 14 turnovers a game. The centers are just about set to jump center at midcourt. And we bring in my broadcast partner, Rob Willman.
All right, John, thank you very much. Both teams a little thin on the bench play tonight. MacArthur with 9 players overall. Nimitz with 8. That means they only have 3 and 4 subs, respectively. MacArthur in the white uniforms, trimmed in gray and red. You're looking at the Nimitz Vikings there. The Nimitz Vikings led by the very short in stature, but a very good player at almost 14 points a game, Brittany Gonzalez, wearing number 30. She is right there. 3 players average in double figures for MacArthur. That's Broussard, Andrews, and Newsom. And there is Sarah Andrews right there, the junior. And they're just going to work around the wing, but Sarah's has a very good touch on the ball. She feeds it inside. It wraps around the perimeter. Trying to save it on the near side is Francis. And it goes right to Coach Evans, who is sporting a knee brace. I asked her before the ball game, I said, what did you do? Do a little pivot and blow out a knee? She goes, that's exactly what I did in practice. We did a little stop and go drill, and the knee did not go. There's the brace there on the left leg. Shot in the corner, nothing there. And picked up by Andrews. She'll push it up the court very quickly. Come the Lady Cards, and the first basket of the year on ICTN is Francis for the 5'10 senior, and it's 2-0 MacArthur.
Angelique averaging 6 points. She's the team's leading rebounder at 7 and pokes this one away.
And she's going to go strong and in for 2, and just like that, she's got 4 points. You might have noticed right off the bat, John, we don't see a lot of full court pressure yet by these Lady Cards. That's what they're noted for. Pressure and great defense. And Gonzalez is going to have to work against Piper if she can get anything going. And the JV team, the Lady Vikings, made a game of it, ended up losing by about 9, as Andrews goes coast to coast and scores a bucket, and very quickly up off the bench is Evans for a quick timeout.
Since she has come back, Rob, Sarah averaging 18 points and 5 rebounds, 5'7" junior.
She makes it make it look so easy, and the good ones do, don't they, John?
She glides to the middle, then gets the finger roll and just lays it gingerly over the front of the rim.
If I told her you look like the Iceman, do you think she'd know what I was talking about?
That's at double G, wasn't it? George Gervin, G squared.
She would not know.
No.
I don't think she'd have an idea. That's why it's really fun if you listen in preseason football when the Cowboys are at training camp. They'll ask the incoming rookies, they'll like, do you know who Bob Lilly is? Do you know who Leroy Jordan is?
Any member of the Doomsday you can name?
Yeah, can you name any? And they're like, who is that? 3-point attempt is true by Wilson, a sophomore. Hits the 3 ball, and you're going to have a lot of those to compete with the Lady Cards, as we played just almost a couple of minutes here of the early go. You have to see the fast-paced Cardinals. We have a couple of times on some defensive rebounds where they pushed it up the court very quickly, but by and large, they're just taking the time. Andrews misses the 3. Francis battling for the rebound. They kick it back out, and Sarah looks around, and Sarah is just a guard, but you know, she's about 6 or 7 inches taller than the guards for Nimitz, so they do have their work cut out for them. Angelique, another strong rebound. And that was Broussard, number 4. It seems like we've been calling Broussard's name for a million years. She is finally a senior, but back underneath, exploiting the defense of the Lady Vikings, is Angelique Francis, the 5'10 senior with 6 points already. She came in, though, averaging only almost 7 points a game, and she's there now almost.
Yeah, that trip down court, she had 3 offensive rebounds and able to get underneath and pour in her 6th point.
So Flores, who's 5'10", will check in. Faulkner will check out. Both of those played post in last year's games, and Francis makes the 3-point play. She's now with her game average of 7. They've been able to hold down Gonzalez here. Now she is double teamed. Not a lot of room for her to go. As we come toward the bench here in the table, and no harm.
Underneath our table now, Brittany, number 30, is the team's best 3-point shooter. She has landed 47 so far this early season.
She has to get clear, and they're having a trouble doing that tonight, although Wilson has hit one already tonight. Little head fake behind the line. Nice hustle by the Lady Vikes. Wilson, the fadeaway, good. So
able to twist free.
Wilson with all 5 of the Lady Viking points here in the first quarter. Nice little crowd. Our first ICTN game of the season. Piper trying to chase it down. Luckily, she didn't touch it, because they said last touched by the Lady Vikings.
Pretty close over there on the side.
Piper was in hot pursuit. Newsom, a sophomore. She's got the ball there out on the wing. Another one of those tall up-and-comers for Susie's team, and a foul right in the lane. And going to the line will be Mackenzie Piper.
Contact, foul is on Brenda Mendoza, number 2. It's team foul number 2.
Piper averages just over 54% from the line. Second shot underway and missed them both, but there's Angelique with a very strong rebound.
And they'll go right back to the line. Tara Wilson committing the foul.
You come in here and you think all eyes are on zero, Sarah Andrews, and they should be because she's such a all-around player. But if you don't have the size to match up underneath, someone like Francis can really have a field day. She's 5'10". She plays more like she's 6 foot, to be honest with you. And she's now made all 3 of her free throws.
Yeah, Francis and Broussard, a good combo. Broussard at 5'11", Angelique at 5'10", both seniors.
Thing is, Francis has every point but 2 here in the early go of the first quarter. Nimitz, they need to catch the ball and shoot if given an opportunity. They can't hold it too long.
Just a little off.
Rebound Piper. There goes Broussard with the miss. Or check that Newsom with the miss. Here comes Brittany.
And you mentioned it, Rob, every trip down court so important. The more you kind of hesitate, it gives the Lady Cards a chance to supply that suffocating defense.
Well, right there, for example, Gomez might have been out of her range, but as soon as you catch the ball, you got to shoot, just like that. Gomez with the 3. Missed up, 1 and done. It seems like the theme here in the first quarter. Sarah on the wing to Piper. Ball is knocked around and finally falls in. Blocked off, but I believe that was Broussard.
Yeah, her first 2.
With her first 2 points of the ball game. Gonzalez loses the handle. They feed inside in the lane. Back to Broussard. She goes up, a strong move. And she's got 4 points, and now with about 3 minutes to go before the first quarter, we see for the first time tonight a little backcourt pressure by Susie and her defensive units. I mean, that's pretty much been her calling card as a head coach. As you see Evans there, is defense, defense, defense. She thought that the team really stepped it up back when Andrews couldn't play. Andrews broke her wrist during the summer and hadn't been cleared to play for a long time. And she thought her team did really well stepping it up. Hate to quote Jason Garrett, next man up, but it's pretty much what she was alluding to.
Might as well everybody else quotes him.
Newsom with 2. And we've got a timeout with about 2.5 here in the first quarter. And then she said once Andrews came back that everybody kept playing at that high level, and they really did miss a beat. Even though they are overall 12-7, they played really well on the road, 8-2. Not so good at home, 4-5. They had a little tournament, I believe, early in the year where they had like 3 games early on here.
And they were the preseason pick to finish number 1 in this district. Louisville, Flower Mound, and Marcus, the top 4 teams in the district. Here's the last steal and the handoff and the basket by Newsom.
They lost to Duncanville to start the season, 62-44. Defeated Mesquite, lost to McKinney. Then they put 3 in a row before losing 3 in a row. Nimitz pushing it up. 3-pointer is good. Did she call the backboard?
There it is.
Did she call the backboard?
Her 48th of the year. Had 17 last year in a game we did against the Lady Cards.
They list her at 4'11".
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
I don't know, 4'8" maybe. She has to be one of the shorter players that we have seen on ICTN in the Irving system. Fast break finished off by Francis. What a career night for her just in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's just money in the bank. Hand her off underneath, and she doesn't miss.
Thing about Gonzalez, she does handle the ball well. She is very quick. Tried a little fake. tried to go through 3 Cardinals in the paint and draws the foul.
A little sapling among the trees there.
And she's a 69% free throw shooter. 11-point lead at this moment by the Cardinals, and she misses her first attempt there.
And Nimitz will bring in for the first, Tori Faulkner. Faulkner in, and Flores out. Flores a senior.
Second shot is true, so she's 1 out of 2 from the charity stripe, and we'll see if the Cardinals pull it back a little bit, work on a play or two. Well, it didn't take long for the newbie to take a shot. She follows her own shot and scores by Butler, the junior, just off the bench, and missed the first shot but followed it. Wilson grabbing the loose ball there. Brittany with the dribble between the legs, behind the back, feet in the corner. When they get those, they got to just take it and shoot. There's room there. Gomez didn't want to take it. Gonzalez did, missed it, and he'll go in possession of the Cardinals.
You know, I like that last basket by Butler. She missed, didn't admire the shot, didn't stand there in concrete. She followed up a shot, weaved her way through 2 defenders, and able to get the putback. Heaven Butler, number 23.
Sarah, number 0, tracks that one down. Nimitz staying in a zone defense. Again, outmanned height-wise in the paint, and it's shown here early. Andrews with that nice silky move, showing why she's one of the top guards in the country being recruited. She still has another season left to go here at MacArthur High School. You can imagine the scouts coming to look at her. The shot at the quarter is missed, and we have one in the books. MacArthur, pretty strong start, leading 23-9, back with the second quarter in a moment. Well, John, it took a while, but Susie finally notched win number 800, and I think she was relieved to see that that was passed. But look, it's been a long career for Susie. Look at that.
21 postseason appearances. Of course, that miracle season of 2011 championship, then at the Class 5A level, that taking place in Austin, and the Coach of the Year as well. And what a year they put together in the 2011 season. If that wasn't enough, a Lifetime Achievement Award in that same year. Doesn't seem like 7 years ago.
And when you talk about records within the city, 11 straight years in the playoffs, 11 years of 20 or more victories. As Andrews gets her 6th point of the ball game, she longest tenured and winningest coach in the city of Irving. 33 seasons. She's now up to 804.
Errant pass and the steal by Broussard.
Will not get a charge. Let's see if that was before the basket or not, as Broussard will go to the line to shoot 1 or 2. Yep, he said it counts. Watch the fast break. And yeah, you could see the defender was moving along with Broussard. Coming in now is Cadence Brown, a sophomore at 5'10".
14th foul by Lady Vikings.
And Broussard will complete the 3-point play, and like Susie likes to do so often, she likes to shuffle her players in and out. Newsom goes back in. She's got a 5'11" freshman, Madison Green. Madison comes in for the first time in this ball game.
You know, that 800th win, Rob, came against Samuel. Win number 800, a 85-22 lopsided win over Samuel this year.
There is number 32, Madison Green, the freshman, 5'11". All the talk, really, though, lately has been about a transfer student, Hannah Gusters. She's 6'4", like 1-2 best post in the country, and it's still yet to be seen how all that's going to play out as MacArthur works the fast break, whether or not what the district committee does and whether they give her the all clear or not. You know, there's this line about you can't transfer if it's for athletic purposes, although we see it a lot in football teams.
Yeah, pretty
in
frequently.
The Metroplex. And, you know, no knock against Susie, but I mean, look at Duncanville and all of their state championships. I think our producer jokingly said to her, hey, if, you know, look here, you ought to take it as what a great program you are.
And it's hard to miss her on street clothes here on the bench. An imposing figure she is.
Here comes Andrews after the Wilson miss. She has two players to choose from. She goes to Angelique, who is a little bit too far underneath the basket and missed the runaway. One of the few mistakes here in the first half, as Kayla Webster, another freshman at 5'6", about to check in for MacArthur. John and I watching the JV game prior to this, looking at the talent they had, and I was like, oh, she has nobody coming up. Well, of course not, because they're all on varsity.
Yeah, they're all here.
Yeah, they're all here. Saved. Corner shot in and out. Not there for Newsom. And it's rebounded, and Nimitz will take their time going across the timeline. Nimitz coaches, they're well aware of how good this group of Lady Cardinals can be, and you can't make mistakes like that, as Newsom will go up uncontested for the layup, and she now has 4 points and a quick timeout by Coach Evans. I mean, it's one thing to get outplayed because the other team just has more talent. It's another thing when you make silly mistakes and you don't have your head in the game and you do turnovers like that last one, and I'm sure that's the reason she called the timeout, is to get her girls' attention about what is going on the court and giving it your all. Angela Evans, an assistant for the late Pam Owens, she played at Howard Payne. She told me, I never got hurt, even at Howard Payne. Even when I was in college, I never got hurt. And here I am with the knee in practice. And now she's got to do a little pep talk to the girls as Susie looks on. John, you know what's interesting is you see our cameraman, Scott Kless, get right in the huddle with the coaches. In the American Basketball Conference, the one SMU's in, UConn and stuff, they passed a rule. A photographer cannot get that close during a game. You got to stay 10 feet away during a timeout.
And I think that all resulted in an injury. I think that came about because of an injury.
Not that someone was seeing what the guy was diagramming on the clipboard and got it down to the other team in time. But that's the case. You've got to keep your distance. In that conference, at least, pretty good conference with UConn and Cincinnati and company. Gonzalez with the miss and a gutsy little rebound by Brown, the 5'10 sophomore. And then it gets into the hands of Cadence Brown, and she will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
As a team, the Lady Vikings hitting 51% of their free throws.
We'll have the boys right after this one. Second one is true. One injury coming into tonight. Ryan Warren, number 32, the junior, will play for Nimitz. Rebound and the putback by Green. Speaking of freshman, Green. 6th player on this Lady Cardinal team that has scored a couple of baskets here before intermission.
Nimitz with just 2 points here in the second quarter.
They go back to Brown. Brown cannot find an opening. Brittany from 3 got what's her typical open shot, and the guard, Andrews, comes with the rebound. She was loading up that assist, hitting Broussard almost in double figures. You could see Andrews just waiting for Broussard to clear before she could throw that assist right in her hands underneath the glass to finish off the fast break.
Francis and Broussard now combining for 20 points. They have 20 of the team's 34.
Last year at this time, and it might have even been later, John, when we picked up the Lady Cardinals in a ball game.
Yeah, it was in January.
Three-pointer bops around, and Alexis can't get that one to fall. They didn't look like they had everything working for them. Long shot missed, and Nimitz will get the rebound. They seemed kind of out of sync. They really didn't seem to, and she blamed a lot of that on youth. Open shot missed by Gomez, and a foul, maybe a frustration one by Cadence Brown, the sophomore, and we'll have some more substitutions. Piper comes in, gives Andrews a rest.
And even with that season last year, Rob, they still won 24 games.
Yeah, I mean, they did.
They were plus 13 at season's end.
They did, and Susie, she didn't say it this year. Last year I'd say, hey, we're young, and you think that's just coach rhetoric setting you up for, not as good a year as you've had in years past. But this year she didn't feel too bad about the team, and everybody's, playing pretty well and stepping it up a notch. And I mean, they do have their moments up and down the court where they don't seem to click, but by and large, they've got a really good group of talented players on this team. That is Webster with the ball. Back over to Newsom, is now on the point with Andrews on the bench. And Francis due to check back in again. Mackenzie Piper, cross court, weak side. They just work it to Broussard, who pretty much just powers her way underneath. Broussard now in double figures, so it's the two big players, Broussard at 5'11" and Francis at 5'10", doing all the damage underneath here in the first half for MacArthur. I don't know what Brittany would have done if she got that pass
a little behind
underneath.
her.
I mean, it was a good play, but she just didn't have the height. And finishing off the fast break is Broussard again. There's 13 points here just in the first half. You got to give Nimitz credit. They're not, at this point, they're staying focused and trying to work around the perimeter. They might have a player open like Flores right there. They just can't seem to connect. And now Flores with the Snowbird. It's a 2-on-none break, and Flores controls it and scores her first 2 points of the ball game. So Flores, who averages less than a point a game, gets a bucket here in the first half, closing in on a minute before the intermission. Wide open again, easy pickings for Broussard. She has a payday on the baseline tonight, making it rather easy.
Well, it has been a while since the Lady Vikings knocked off Mac. Got to go back 13 years ago.
That's an air ball. In fact, I was surprised, John, not even that, but they swept the series.
Yeah, won both games that year.
They swept the series, and then like 2 years prior, they'd swept the series again, and you think, man, it's been a long time, but it's hard to wrap your head around it because we've watched these Lady Cards for years, and they just seem to be dominating in the city of Irving. To think that they actually got swept.
Yeah, 2004 and the 2005 season.
Yeah. There's a little runner, nicely done by Butler. 4 points for the 5'7" junior. Easy move on her part on the baseline. Be interested to see how Susie approaches the second half if she has the same tenacity or throws more freshmen out on the court. Andrews tried that long distance pass to Butler, broken up by the Lady Vikings in the paint. And with just over 3 seconds before the break, that's just enough time for MacArthur to score about 6 points.
Yeah.
And Andrews will get the shot at the buzzer and count it. So Andrews finishes with 8 first half points. And the Lady Cardinals make it look pretty easy after 2 quarters of basketball, leading 44-13. Back in a minute with some highlights and scores, so stick around.
And welcome back to Irving MacArthur. It has been all MAC here in the first 16 minutes. They led by as many as 29. They currently lead by 31 as we get set to play half number 2. A couple of highlights from the Lady Vikings. That's a Tiara Wilson, the sophomore, getting her first three-pointer. And then Brittany Gonzalez, who leads the team in threes, lands one from outside. And underneath, right before the half, Griselda Floor is able to get open and pour in her first 2 points. Lady Cards could do just about anything they wanted to in the first half. Francis underneath and Angelique with 11 points. And then the drive and the easy handoff inside to Butler. Here's the break by Newsom. And the handoff to Broussard, number 4, the senior. In double figures, the no-look pass that has been there all night. Broussard underneath, senior to senior. And a huge lead. Tiara Wilson leading the Lady Vikings in scoring with 5. Brittany Gonzalez next tie with 4. Taylor Broussard and Angelique Francis combining for 26 points. Sarah Andrews with 8, your 3 leading scorers for the Lady Cards.
All right, John, thank you very much. As we start the second half, question here is, how long will the starters play for the Lady Cards? They have 4 on the bench. There's only 3 replacements for the Lady Vikings, but they need a lot of firepower right now, and the Lady Cards kind of stack it back just a little bit. Going with the man-to-man defense. Brittany from the corner, 3-pointer. Gonzalez now a 7, as she hit the wide open shot, and they need a lot of that here in the second half. Lady Cards slowing it down a little bit and now running a play. You might see them do a lot of things to work on their game. That play is open all night, as Broussard is up to 17 points, and she's just exploited the height differential against the Lady Vikings on the baseline and made it look pretty easy. That time it's knocked away by Francis. The fast break mishandled, but they regroup as Newsom kicks out to Andrews.
Bounce pass in traffic and got away with it off of the deflection.
Piper with a slick move, hits the back iron and misses, but putting it back up is Newsom. First points of the second half. She had 4 in the first. Those second and third opportunities really lopsided in favor of the Cardinals. A little dangerous pass by Gonzalez. Newsom was there to tip it out of bounds.
Lady Cards 23 points in the first quarter, 21 in that second period.
We'll have the boys game to follow this. We'll also have John Nelson talking to Susie a little bit about picking up her milestone win, as that was a nice play underneath, and Wilson gets an easy 2-pointer, and it's like the other side of the coin. This is a full timeout. This is not a Nimitz timeout, it's a MacArthur timeout, and it's like what Coach Evans did in the first half. If you see something where the girls aren't playing maybe hard enough some mental letdowns. It's not like missing a pass or missing a shot. It's when you're just not giving it pretty good effort. And Susie, she doesn't have a long forgiveness range. If she sees a pattern where she feels the girls are not playing right, she's quick to call that timeout. So I think this might just be one of those little get your head in order timeout.
Still have to finish the game, and I don't want to see any letdown.
Standings for the girls in 6-6A, we came in with both Hebron and MacArthur tied. Louisville and Flower Mound, and Marcus right there on the heels, and Coppell, Nimitz, and Irving looking for their first district win. Coaches around the state picked MacArthur to win this district, and I think when everything is said and done, they should be the favorite.
Yeah, Duncanville went undefeated last year. Duncanville 36-1 overall a season ago.
Andrews, little firing no-look pass underneath. Francis unable to handle that one as it was knocked out of bounds by Nimitz. Nimitz will not beat you with their height. They just have to be in the right place. Three-pointer missed by Newsom, retrieved by Piper, and they just regroup again. And Newsom will kick it over to Andrews. We haven't seen Sarah take a lot of shots. She's really been more or less the floor leader, just really dishing off as many as she can. This time she owns it, and they call her for the charge.
Kind of a lead block as soon as she let it go.
And Faulkner was the one there that was able to draw the charge.
Yeah, you see Sarah kind of lean in, and easy call.
So what can the Lady Vikings do to try to create space and get the shot off? And if you had a camera and an isolation on Coach Evans after that whole play, her facial expressions would have said it all after the play, and that's just, you can't throw the ball away.
Yeah, she just took her eyes off of it. Faulkner on the side court.
And when that happens, you make mistakes, you don't even put yourself in a position just to even try to score some points.
Courtney Wright has come on, number 25, a junior, plays the forward position.
It's been a comfortable lead throughout for the Cards. Mackenzie Piper, who plays a strong game.
She has a quick release.
She does. Both Piper and Francis both are strong players underneath. It's hard to really push them around. And that's their forte. And if they get the transfer student in from Duncanville as Andrews hits the three-pointer.
First three.
Yeah, if that falls into place, they're going to be so strong up front. Underneath the basket, other teams are going to have a really tough time pushing these girls around. They're already pretty steady as it is. Gonzalez had to pull up on the dribble, and when she did that, things go terribly wrong. Andrews for two. And now she's stepping her game up just a little bit offensively, besides playing the role of assist maker. Halfway point of quarter number 3. Our first game in district play on ICTN. This game being recorded on December the 18th. 2018, as Mendoza scores her first 2 points of the game. The junior connect on the baseline. We'll have another game for you here in a few weeks in the new year, 2019.
Yeah, we're going to be over at North Lake for a contest because of the renovation at Irving High.
A lot of renovations coming on. John, you stumbled upon the fact that the baseball fields are getting new grass, quotation marks.
Yeah, drove it.
Grass.
Yeah, the baseball field here at Mac is just solid concrete, and I thought, well, what are they leveling out and moving to diamond? But the backstop being switched, but natural field turf for all the schools next year.
No rainouts, right?
0. It's the Lightning that does it, though. It can hold
shot.
water.
Yep, missed by Francis. That's her first free throw that she's missed. She's 4 out of 5. Outstanding from the line tonight.
I'll say this, if the dugouts flood, that would be a rainout.
Then you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Andrews uses every bit of the rim for the breakaway, too.
Came in averaging 18. She now has 15.
Yeah, what, about 4 games under her belt? I mean, she looks pretty good. Looks like she's in shape. Nothing seems to bother her.
Oh.
Gonzalez from about 40 feet away, and Wilson's unable to save on the base. 2 fresh faces, Broussard back in, along with Kayla Webster, the freshman. And the freshman, number 13, will team up with the junior Butler, number 23. And Sarah will take a break with 2:34 to go. I wonder if Susie is trying to limit or work her up her minutes, since she hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, it's only the 4th district game, and I got to think that's some of the mindset.
If I recall, I believe she broke it playing, for lack of a better term, select team, AAU basketball over the holidays or over the summer.
Yeah, I think it's a late July.
Baseline move, and first I thought maybe she dragged the pivot foot, but no, they're going to slap Brown with the personal foul. Had an interesting discussion this week over the radio about how European teams, basketball teams, have a, for lack of a better, just a better summer league and system for the players, as Green gets her 4th point of the ball game. And that's why the Maverick sensation is, he's only 19, but he moved, what, to Spain.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games. I mean, a ton of games.
Right, to get his game where it is now. 19, you'd think he's in his 20s. How well he commands the floor.
It just makes you like the game that much better when you see somebody that young and court savvy that he has.
And he's wearing your favorite jersey of the team you're rooting for.
Yeah.
You know, by and large, even in college, the average fan doesn't get excited till March Madness, unless it's like just your team, but an overall love of the game. I mean, how many people have I talked to football-wise that they just watch a game? It's football. I don't care who it is. I'll watch a game. Well, you don't get that with basketball. Wilson has her shot blocked by Green. Having a hard time getting it in play, but they do there, and here comes Broussard. And another blocking foul underneath.
Team foul number 3. This one on Sereno.
And that'll send Broussard to the free throw line. She shot once from the free throw line. Overall, she's about a 71% free throw shooter.
Mac 4 of 6 in foul shooting in the first half.
Not really a lot of free throws per se, as she hits both in the first half. Mac girls shot a couple more than the Lady Viking girls did in the first half. You would think, especially with MacArthur really challenging in close, you might see more whistles and more fouls called in the paint. That one was a foul away from the ball, or at the ball contact. And MacArthur will have it, a 40-point lead. And let's see if they'll wait for the last shot.
So you like the direction the Mavericks are going?
Oh, who wouldn't be? It's been a while since you're actually excited to watch him play. As Courtney Wright will earn a trip to the free throw line. We saw just 2 officials at the JV game. The third coming out for the varsity game as Courtney hits the first.
I'm just glad the interchange at MacArthur and 183 is finished underneath. Makes it a little easier now to get here.
Makes your day, huh?
It does.
As a team, MacArthur hitting 65% of their free throws. That will bode well come postseason time. Wilson with a pretty shot, but hit the back iron, and we're almost down to the end of the quarter. Can they get it off in time? They do. Can't make it fall, but that's okay. They've got a 42-point lead. 62-20 after 3. We'll be back with the final stanza in a moment. So the Lady Vikings could only manage 7 points in the third quarter. And Andrews herself had 7 points for the Lady Cardinals. Kind of sizes things up for you here. Outmanned, outgunned. If it was a war, you might want to retreat. And there's the quick hands of the Cards. Andrews, left-handed, switches hands off the glass, looks pretty. 17 points for the junior. Uncommitted, she's just one of many. A top recruit in the country that says for next year, I've got time, I'm just a junior. But one of many that are undecided at this point, and that's nothing unusual.
No, you come to these games and you kind of look around and you see somebody in coach's gear and some warm-ups and wonder, well, where are they from? What are they looking at?
Put back is good by Broussard. Leading scorer with 21 points for these Lady Cards. We saw that with the other 2 guards for the Cardinals. Oh, wide open, nice little play off the window. Wouldn't fall for Faulkner. And a couple of Cardinals go to Baylor. One thought Duke would be a good idea. Then she changed her mind and ended up at Baylor. 6:24 to go. Again, we'll have the guys next. Always entertaining, it seems, John, no matter how one team is perceived to be so much better than the other when they play, it always seems to be close.
Well, yeah, you follow the game plan, you think you know what to expect. Half the time that is usually the case. But it's those little things that ignite a team to make a run that gets me excited. A little extra step. You hit a 9-1 run, a 13-2 run. You get those spurts that crowd gets into it also.
We'll have Nimitz one more time against Irving. So the ballpark in Arlington, Globe Life Park, the site of football coming up, huh?
2020 in February.
We'll see how that plays out. Been a while since we've had a new football league.
A lot of things to be worked out, but they're scheduled. 5 home games, total of 10 for each team in that new XFL.
Read the other day where the Oakland Raiders will have to find somewhere to play next year before their stadium is ready in Las Vegas as Broussard hits another bucket. That was a big mess in Oakland. They did everything to keep the A's as Gonzalez hits her third three.
That gives her 50 now for the year, 53 pointers.
And that barely hit the net. I mean, it went through the rim and barely touched the twine. But there's the soft spot defensively as Broussard's making a living on the baseline. If we had a shot chart of her game tonight, 90% of those shots would be right in the paint on the baseline where she's work free. And credit her teammates doing a really good job offensively to get her the basketball. So as we've got about 4 minutes to go in the ball game, let's take a look at the standings and how things have played out for these teams. And you know, we talked about how the Cardinals and the series, how coming in it was all dominated by Mac from the 17-18 season down. You look at the last 6 seasons and you look about there and you try to see the really close ones, and a couple of times it was 49-40.
They're competitive, and
in that
2017.
Yeah, that's probably the closest it's been. One game in each of those years where it was at least 1 point. Single digits.
3 possessions.
Little confusion there on personnel for the Lady Vikes. "12 games straight for MacArthur here at home, and another 3-pointer by Gonzalez.
Lights it up from the corner.
And that'll bring 4 fresh players off the bench for Susie. Under 4 minutes to go. They'll go a perfect 4-0 in district play heading into the holidays. It's a travel. Sarah took a couple of steps, and now we have 4 fresh faces. Who comes out? Well, everybody but Andrews. How about that? That adds pretty much up. You get Butler in there, Webster's in there, all the youngsters, and 1 junior. So with about 3.5 to go in the game, I always think that's going to be the last change, but Susie's known for throwing people in and out in a hurry. But that's what we've got right now. And Andrews running the court, and maybe she needs the time. She might need the extra time since she's working her way back into the lineup. Cardinals just a little more patient. That was almost thrown away by Webster. Corner shot for 3 is good. Right. 5 points now for the junior. And she was left alone in the corner. Nice little shot on the baseline by Mendoza, her second one.
It was 44-13 at halftime.
3-pointer missed by Butler, rebounded. Gonzalez, she should just pull back and shoot. Well, she thought about it.
Yeah.
Instead, she goes to Mendoza in the corner, can't get it to fall. He talked to Toby Martin, the boys coach, about Andrew Jones. We'll hit that a little bit during the boys game. They give Andrews a 3-pointer. He has a long way to go before he can get back into playing basketball.
Sarah with 20 points.
Gonzalez missed the 3-pointer. The ball was knocked around by Brown by Nimitz, and they're going to say it went off the hands of one of the Cardinals.
Back to Anthony Jones, Rob. He is going to redshirt this year at UT, and a lot of people think that Shaka's not getting the job done in Austin.
Well, I was wondering how, when the patience would start to run thin. If you're not Duke, I would hate to, even Duke has their problems. The fact that the really good kids stay one season and they're gone.
Makes you appreciate what Rick Barnes did every year down there.
And Rick Barnes did the same thing. You know, he had one player. Travel call. And he still had competitive teams. You know, I don't think it was quite that way for Mr. Smart. Was it VMI he was at the first time? Those guys stuck around a little longer. Maybe it works to the disadvantage. Kevin Durant, he stayed a year and was gone. Another three-pointer, pretty shot now. 2 threes for Wright.
Nothing but the net.
Yeah. Left alone on the wing. And the Cardinals will rack up another district win.
Well, now I've won 8 in a row.
Yeah, keep the streak alive. We will have highlights. We'll have the final stats. Also, John will go talk to Susie to get her thoughts on this game. And then we'll have the boys' game coming up after that. Susie's still coaching it up. Susie, you got like a 50-point lead. That won't stop her.
51.
She is still coaching. Will not stop at all. Ball is loose. Can Nimitz score one? Go ahead, Brittany, try for 3. Nope, couldn't get it off in time. 79-28. All MacArthur in this one, as they win this one handily against their crosstown rivals and pick up another district win. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Susie and get some final thoughts on this one before the boys' game. So stick around. Their breezes to an easy win, 79-28 over the Lady Vikings. Standing by now is our own John Nelson with Susie. John?
All right, Coach, a convincing win tonight over Nimitz. You got Broussard and Francis involved early in the game.
You know what? Angelique Francis, she's out to prove something right now. I'm motivated. I want to get on her about her rebounding, and she stepped it up quite a bit. We're best when we're running, but when we rebound, we run, and it also helps to have Sarah Andrews back.
I was going to ask you, Coach, what has she meant since her return to the team?
What's that?
What has she meant since her return to the team?
Well, when you're missing your quarterback, you know, I mean, that's a big loss. So I'm really proud of the way the girls got better without Sarah. They came together as a team. They really improved, and now that Sarah's back, it really is a very good situation. So they grew, they got better, and now we got our quarterback. So it's all coming together at the right time.
Coach, how do you see the district playing out from here on out?
Well, you know what? Friday night's a very big game for us because we're going against Hebron, and we're both tied for first. So I think it's going to come down to January. Whoever's playing the best basketball in January. We played a lot of games in December, more than what I thought we would play, but the key is keeping everybody healthy, making their grades, and, you know, just staying together as a team, good camaraderie.
Finally, Coach, belated congratulations on your 800th win. I'm sure you've heard from a lot of people.
You know what? I tell you what, I've been very blessed. I've heard from people all over, some of the former players that I used to coach that played overseas, and I've heard from people that I haven't seen in years. I guess they found all these people on Facebook. But it's been such a joy. You know, what a celebration. But MacArthur's been great for me, and everybody on the staff of MacArthur has been so awesome to me. Been so nice.
Coach, good luck the rest of the district.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for being here.
All right, John, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights of this game. And for the Lady Vikings, it was the 4'11 junior, Brittany Gonzalez. She had a hard time early on getting on track. Did get one three-pointer in the first half, but in the second half, she connected 3 times from behind the line, and she was the offensive spark for the Lady Vikings. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, when you think of MacArthur, you think, of course, of Sarah Andrews, but also inside tonight, Taylor Broussard with 25 points had a really good night. She had 15 in the first half, and then she turned around and had 10 in the second. And then Sarah Andrews, who's getting her sea legs after being hurt most of the year, her 4th, 5th game back, and she did quite well running the offense. You take a look at the scoring. Brittany Collins in double figures, did not get a lot of support from the rest of the team. And then on the MacArthur side, we talked about the leading scorers. It was Taylor Broussard with 25, Andrews with 20, Francis with 12, 11 of those in the first half. Wright, Newsom, Butler, Green round out the scoring. So with the girls' game in the books, we now turn our attention to the gentlemen in District 6A. MacArthur taking on Nimitz, both winning their first district battle of the season. MacArthur 9-5 overall. Hebron right behind at 6-4, followed by Nimitz and Coppell, who all won their opening night battles. The losers in that round, Louisville, Flower Mound, Marcus, and Irving, who's having a really tough time this year at 1-9. Joel Donaldson for the Nimitz Vikings, running the helm again, as he'll be looking for help from his team, including Jalen Jernigan, who's one of those football players that takes a while to make that transition from football to basketball. Here are your starters: 3 guards, 2 forwards, Justice, Jernigan, who we talked about, Perez, Gardner, and Durham. The starting lineups for MacArthur: they have 4 guards and a post. Almost every player at 6 feet or higher. Inquez, Mathis, Carius Key, Davion Daly at 5'11", with a couple of sophomores there, and Kenneth Hardy, the 6'5" post. So the key is, no pun intended, is how Nimitz can keep up with this fast-paced Irving MacArthur boys basketball team. Nimitz will be in their traveling uniforms in purple and white, and MacArthur will be in their home uniforms, white trimmed in red. Ironically, we had to get the Cardinals to find the game ball so we could start this thing. And with the call, Mr. John Nelson.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. Patrick Durham at 6'5". In the jump circle, Kenneth Hardy also at 6'5". For the home Cardinals of Irving MacArthur. Cards have won 2 in a row. They are 5-3 at home. They come in averaging 61. Nimitz comes in averaging 51, and the opening tip controlled by the Cardinals. Davion Daly will walk it up court, picked up quickly by Saul Allen as it drifts over to the left side. Entry pass broken up, able to regain possession was Hardy. Outside to Carius Key. We saw a lot of Carius Key last year. 3-pointer on the way, Nikki Ginwez. 6-foot senior. Niguez. And the Cards with an early 3-0 lead.
Cardinals in a trap.
Cross court, broken briefly. Underneath, trying to get it to Gardner.
Well played baseline move.
Isaiah Gardner comes in averaging 4 points a game. Patrick Durham is the team's leading scorer at 10. Nick and Iguez up top to Mathis, back to Nick. fronted by Durham. Mathis will let it go from the dotted line, goes hard off the back rim, and controlled underneath by Jalen Jernigan, the 6'1 senior. Durham in the corner, three-pointer on the way. It's a little short, caught underneath by Key. Carius Key in traffic. Underneath, and a blocking foul, and Carius Key.
Well, Jernigan
go to the line.
Jernigan tried to plant both feet in time. And Key's a pretty big guy coming down the lane. Takes a big nerve to try to draw the charge. We saw Key last year. He'll have more of a role this time around.
Yeah, the Cards only had 2 seniors last year. This year, the roster comprised of 4 seniors, 6 juniors, and 4 sophomores. Carius, in a game we did last year against Nimitz, had 16 points. There's his first, and it's a 4-2 Cardinal lead.
See how long it takes Coach Martin to bring out the full court press. Last time he waits, and then he'll try to double down on the half-court pressure.
Durham back out with Hardy. Bounce pass intended down low for Jernigan, broken up out of bounds and off of MacArthur at side court. And Jalen Jernigan to play it in as they unstack out of the I formation, gives it to Gardner. Isaiah shoots it cross court. Handoff, a little soft release by Jernigan off the back iron, and here's Key on the run down the left side. Cardinals on top 4-2. Key got tied up with Jernigan on the way up, and team foul number 2 assessed to the Nimitz Vikings. And Carius Key back to the line for Mac. Defensively, the Vikings allowing more than they score. They give up 54. And Carius, the senior, with one more chance. Cardinals coming off a 92-61 win over the Tigers of Irving. Drops this one through. Carius 2 for 4 from the line, and the lead at 3. Justice, the freshman, in the corner. Durham, short, grabbed quickly by Hardy. Here's Key. Lead pass to Mathis. Mathis goes baseline underneath and draws the contact. And we'll see 2 more shots from the line for the Cardinals.
Well, so far the Cardinals are doing a good job of drawing the foul and going to the free throw line. Already 4 trips in their back pocket, looking for got their 5th right here.
Mathis pours in the first of 2, and the lead at 4. Cardinals last year overall 10-20. In the district, 4-10. Did not reach the playoffs last year. The Vikings in district play a season ago, 3-11. Durham grabs it, backing in off the glass. Scores over Hardy.
Strong move by the 6'5 junior.
And right in front of head coach Joe Donaldson as it goes awry off of Nimitz, and at side court, Devion Daly shoots it into a wide open Carius Key. Intended for Hardy, then shooting right in front of him was Jalen Justice, the freshman. Nice aggressive move. It stays with MacArthur. And Daly again at side court.
Coach Donaldson not starting a senior.
Juggled up by Hardy. Couldn't find the handle. And turns it over with 5:06 to go in the opening period. Coach Martin in year number 8. Again, his team with a home court record of 5-3. Both teams a perfect 1-0 in District 6A. Jalen Justice, freshman, averaging 12 points a game. He'll feed Jernigan. Allen up high to Gardner. Nothing happening. Durham with a jump pass to Gardner underneath. Gardner has it swatted away by Hardy. Run down. Mathis trying to save it, just throws it back. And fortunately, a Cardinal was there. The three-pointer miss from the right elbow by Daly. In transition, this one sticks for Justice.
It's a pretty move. Up and down the court very quickly, and the floater fell.
And the three-point deficit has been erased. We start over at 6. Daly drifting over to the left hash mark. Bounce pass to Key. Outside to Mathis. Trey Mathis with a 3. And up high is a freshman, Jason Justice. Another block by Hardy.
Hardy and Durham, the two big uns underneath the glass. That's going to be the key matchup, early on at least. It goes around Key, and here comes Hardy with the left hand and slaps it out.
Blake Burris now in the game, number 32, the 6'5 junior. And the defensive end in the football season. Turnaround jumper missed in the paint. And now a chance for Mac to regain the lead. Key will take the long 3, a little short. Run down, lead pass. Here's Justice, and Justice has it blocked. No goaltend, but following up is Gardner. On the other end, Hardy. That lead change was brief. Now tied at 8.
Love the fast pace.
Nimitz on the year at 5-7. The Cardinals at 9-5. Entry pass for Durham. And lost it. 3-on-3. And a 2-point lead at the 2:55 mark, and a timeout taken.
I really thought that Nimitz would try to exploit Burris with their big guy Patrick Durham underneath, and twice they tried to go inside with Hardy on the bench, and both times, well, the first time they were able to get a putback. That last time, though, they got the block, and MacArthur went the other way. But it's a fun matchup underneath. There's where he lost the ball in the fast break. No one can touch him, and Daly gets the 2 points. He heard the whistle afterwards. Thought he did something wrong. Didn't know there was a timeout being called by Donaldson. He didn't like those last 2 series where they were in a mismatch underneath, couldn't take advantage of it. And you've got Burris at 6'5", taking Hardy's place at 6'5". Hardy's a little bit more, I guess, thinner than Burris, who, you know, like the football player, defensive end he is, he fills the lane quite well. Now, after the timeout, Coach Martin has opted to go with both big men. So you got Burris and Hardy playing on the baseline.
Nimitz coming off a 47-42 win against Flower Mound on their district opener. This pass a little bit behind Jernigan. They retrieve it. And Gardner fills it up. His 6th point. And we're tied at 10.
Pretty shot on the baseline. You didn't know who was going to get the loose ball there for a while at midcourt.
Xavier Radford in at a guard, number 1, broken up. Gardner breaks free, and Isaiah Gardner with a couple of points, or a couple of baskets in about 20 seconds.
First time they were able to exploit Burris underneath and use their quickness to circumvent his big size with the turnover.
Radford, and underneath, what, you got 3-second call?
Yep. Hardy was camping out. They called the 3-second.
Lane violation.
Got Ross now checking in for MacArthur, as well as we talked about Radford. We saw Radford last year come off the bench, try to spark him from the outside.
Philip Ross, a 6-foot junior, was tackled. Jason Justice trying to make something happen in the lane, he was hip checked and also kicked.
Burris just needed to stand still. He could leave the hips in one place, he'd have been fine.
Non-shooting foul. They'll play it in underneath as Gardner grabs it briefly, run down by Saul Allen to Gardner. Gardner working on Rigsby. Open is Ross. And here come the Cardinals the other way. Trying to save it is Radford as he splits a couple of cheerleaders in two and cushions off the padding.
He looked up. It's like one of those wide receiver moves where you look up at the defenders before you look the ball into your hands, and he just lost it.
Minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. Jason Justice trying to break free and reaching from behind as Radford slapped him on the wrist. Team foul number 3 on the Cardinals.
I notice a change in philosophy by Nimitz. When they push the ball up the court, they don't allow MacArthur to set in that half-court press.
Azim Ross is on the right side. If Justice can get, whether he's going to take the three at the top of the key, rolls off the back and collected by Daly underneath. Open is Ross. Ross misses a three. Winding down to 1 minute. Jason Justice puts on the brakes, gives it to Durham. Durham lets it fly, misses from the left of his elbow. But they still lead by 2. Under a minute. Daly quick handoff to Radford. Nimitz won both games last year over the Cards. But before that, Mack had won the last 10, going left hand underneath is Radford. Radford finds the mark, and we're tied at 12.
Last year wasn't your typical Toby Martin team. He had a lot of youngsters, and it was growing pains.
Justice going to be a little short, caught underneath by Allen, and he is held down. With 22 seconds to go in the first. Blake Burris gets up. So each team now with 4 fouls. And Azim Ross, a 6'3" junior, to trigger it back in.
That's 2 quick fouls on Burris here in the first quarter.
Shoots it deep, caught by Durham. Patrick Durham, 6'5" junior, averaging 10 a game. Loose, it's still on the floor. Durham able to get it back. 11 seconds left in the first. Ross all the way to midcourt with 5 seconds. Azim off the hip, off the glass, underneath, and a desperation heave at the buzzer by Blake Burris, and that'll terminate play in the first 8 minutes. We're tied at 12. The Cardinals and the Vikings on our ICTN Game of the Week. With Rob Willman, John Nelson back here at Irving MacArthur. Christmas vacation just days away as we get underway in quarter number 2. This one chased down by Radford on the errant throwaway. 3-ball left side, no good. Trying to save it up high as Ross over the lid and collected by Allen, two-handed style. Second chance for the Vikings. Early in the second quarter, the handoff intended for Durham, batted away by Key. Open is Radford, and Radford will throw it down. And the Cards back on top by a deuce.
Nothing gets the crowd fired up more than the flush.
Justice, left sideline pass to Allen, inside to Durham. Durham on Burris, and throws it up and in. It will count. A basket and one for Durham. Burris's first foul.
I think Burris has got a couple of fouls at least, John.
Well, you know, the scoreboard, usually they have the players lit up and how many fouls and how many points they have on the board, but it's just a solid black.
I've got Burris for 2, maybe 3 already.
Well, Durham completes the three-point play, and the Vikings on top by 1.
You know, between Gardner and Durham, Joel Donaldson's got to feel pretty good about having a couple of big men out there on the court.
And they're both back. They're both back next year.
Yeah.
Handoff up high to Radford. Left side to Key. Carry is Key. Jump pass to Hardy. Hardy twisting, and walked with it. Nick Iniguez back in, number 2, as well as Trey Mathis. Azim Ross underneath, turns, that's a shot taken and missed. And here's Rigsby, cross court to Mathis. Mathis lets fly and is short on the 3. Whistle away, well, he stepped on the line and some contact on the far side. It's going to be a push, not much of one, but it's assessed to Nick. His first and the team's 6th. Carey is Key and Ross both wear the same number, have kind of the same shot. Here's Key, grabs it underneath, and a chance for the Cardinals to take the lead ahead to Rigsby. Key guarded by Ross.
He's wondering how long this fast pace could last. Well, they're, except for the turnover there, palming the ball. There's Iniguez. They're still keeping the pace up pretty good.
Held it and turned it over right-handed, and 2 minutes into the second quarter.
Coach Donaldson.
Still a 1-point Viking lead. Rigsby takes it away and scores. Steal and a deuce for the sophomore. 1 of 4 on the roster. To the floor they dive. Cardinals come out with it. Key short underneath and contact. And team foul number 5 assessed to Nimitz.
Here's the replay. Key trying to edge the defender, and Johnson leaned just a tad to his left.
Carey is Key, misses the first of 2. That will allow Devion Daly to come back in, number 15. And Iniguez comes out.
That's six attempts now on the night for Key, so he's drawing the foul. He's earning the spot to the free throw line. Shooting under 50% at this point so far in the game, and we've got an official's timeout, and we might have a little maybe blood perhaps
on the finger of Justice, the freshman. So he'll go to the bench and get some attention. Too much of a scratch, I guess. Number 15, Isaiah Gardner, where he enters with 8 points.
Yeah, Gardner started off hot in the first quarter. Checking the lane now to see if there's any blood on the court itself. It didn't seem like that big of a gash.
No, it didn't.
Now they're still looking at the court, and they're looking at Justice to see if they can stop that so he can get back out on the court.
Carey is Key, misses on the second. Only 2 of 6 from the line. 16-15, Cardinals still on top. Here's a run in by Ross as he tries to split the defenders.
Yeah, he was fouled from behind, so that's what they called first. And that'll put him over the limit. They'll be shooting the 1-and-1.
Number 5, Azim Ross at the stripe. And indeed, it is team foul number 7 on the Cardinals. Bonus to follow.
So far, John, this is such a fast-paced, high-energy first half. It's only the fouls and the free throws that have really slowed down the pace of this game.
Yeah, those first 3 minutes went by in a hurry. They haven't put up a point yet. Now they have 16 all. Grabbed underneath by Allen. And the Vikings get it back. DeJohn Wilson misses in a crowd. Grab, there's a hole as Hardy was about to come out with it. And is held down by Saul Allen, number 13.
At this point, we'll be in the double bonus at about 3 minutes to go before the half.
And a stoppage of play away from the ball. One of the officials looking down.
Wants a towel.
There's a wet spot around the three-point arc on that end of the court.
Yeah, I think he caught it himself, backpedaling after the play. So after a little cleanup, ready to get back. Boy, what a fun game at this point.
Midcourt across the way. It's thrown back in by Rigsby. To Key, off balance, and who has it high off of the floor. It is tipped and controlled by Mack underneath, and wow, contact as Mathis goes down hard.
Ross, number 5, defending on the play, hit him pretty good, and back to the free throw line we go.
Well, you could hear Mathis hit hard. That is a 17th foul assist to Nimitz.
Now both teams in the bonus. We're just basically at the 5-minute mark of the second quarter.
Feel like we've played 2 games already.
We have. We just did the girls' game. What are you talking about?
Mathis fills up the first. And is perfect on the second. And another lead change. Devin Johnson thrown away by Wilson underneath. Daly cross court to Mathis, back to Daly. Trying to get an extra step, stops, jumps, shoots, and misses. Controlled underneath by Daly, and after all of that, the Cardinals able to get a shot off, and Hardy converts.
This will be the 11th free throw attempt by the Cardinals so far in the first half. Man, great hustle that time. And Hardy finishing it off. But Daly's the one that did all the dirty work, getting it to Hardy inside.
Hardy fronted by Azim Ross as soon as he picked it off with the floor and got the shot off. So here's the big sophomore. And he converts. And the lead at 5. 2-possession lead for the Cardinals with 4:17 to go in the half, and broken up and retrieved. No over and back. Now we got some contact as Ross had it. Went over the boundary mark on the far side, and I think we've got Mathis with a foul. It's going to be on Trey Mathis.
This
and it puts Azim Ross at the line.
This game could bog down at the free throw line as both teams aggressive, and at the same time, when you get a little crosstown rivalry going on, oftentimes you get aggressive officiating as well, so it doesn't get out of hand.
That term, a torrid pace.
Torrid.
Ross will have one more. And the Vikings to within 4. Now 3. Jalen Jernigan back in for Nimitz, number 3, a 6'1" senior.
Also justice after having some work done on the hands so the bleeding would stop.
Radford outside Uniguez. A little too much on it. From about 17, look who cleans it up and battles underneath. As Nick is helped up off of the floor after he was fouled.
Great hustle that time by Nimitz. Watch here, he just, thank you, stays behind and draws the foul.
Nimitz whacked over the top by Johnson.
This will be the 12th free throw attempt by MacArthur so far.
He'll have a pair and lands the first. Patrick Durham back in, number 14. Nimitz, 6-foot senior, lines up the second. And it goes. His 5th point and a 5-point lead for the Cards.
A little backcourt pressure provided by MacArthur.
Justice clears it ahead to Jernigan. Nice shot from about 10 feet out, a softie by Gardner. Just floated it up there. 23-20, and Justice from the backside. The freshman comes up with a steal, able to stay in bounds. He'll take it all the way and hit it short underneath. Outlet pass caught by Radford. Misses a one-hander.
He wanted a foul. He wanted a foul on the play, didn't get it.
Couple of chances for both teams. Handoff, baseline left, and Isaiah Gardner fills it up from 9 feet out. He has a dozen points. Cardinal try to go deep as Radford misses a 3. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Vikings with 10 points this quarter. And the Cardinals have scored 11. They send it in to Durham. No shot, no opening, but Justice says, I'll take the shot from the right corner. He'll miss it. And the ball tipped to Radford. Left side 3, and ramming it home is Davion Daly. A 3 ball from the left elbow and a 4-point lead. 2:15 to go. Up high with a steal is Hardy. That will go down. That's going to stay. Radford flushes it home.
Xavier made sure this time.
And the lead at 6 with under 2.
The pace working in the favor of MacArthur when they come up with a turnover.
Collision at midcourt. It's loose, sliding and trying to call timeout with the ball. And doing so was Gardner, able to save it for the Vikings.
Quick timeout being called. I don't know if it was you, but it seemed like he was calling time forever before he finally got it.
Before he got the attention.
They were just looking at him. But first of all, let's look at Nimitz here. Number 2, trying to poke the ball away. I thought Mac had a sure easy break, and then all of a sudden, coming out of nowhere, was Gardner with the timeout.
So Joel Donaldson, he was a Bearcat at Huntsville at one point, played for Sam Houston State. Bearcat with a K. You've done some games in Huntsville.
Yeah, I have indeed. They've had some good football teams of late, making it to that subdivision playoffs, even to the finals one year. Of course, no one beats North Dakota State.
Looking for Jernigan or Gardner. Justice, and he had been hit by Radford, and he was.
Yeah.
And a 1-and-1.
Here we go again. Back to the free throw line. Only the 6th one and 6th attempt by Nimitz. It was tied at 12 at the first quarter. That's 2 fouls on Radford, so he's going to sit down, and Phillip Ross is going to come in.
Jason Justice at the free throw stripe for the first time. And he'll have one more. Vikings have done a nice job. They've only missed 1 free throw. Came in averaging a dozen points a game. There's a good shot from underneath as we follow the path. And the second as good as the first.
I feel like it's a whole new cast of characters for both teams.
And this is only the second district game. Both teams at 1-0. Well, Gardner's giving his counterpart pretty good cushion, Key, but to go to the corner for a three. This one spins out as Ross fired up the three. Justice will leave it, and Gardner on his way up with a nice power move and draws a two-shot foul.
Really impressed by the freshman Jason Justice, number 2. Quickness, hustle. There he is there on that last series. He's 5'8". He's going against guys that are 6'5", and he was able to come away with the basketball and push it up the court.
Maurice Young is set to check in, number 22, and does so. And the second falls for Gardner. He's got 14 points. Under a minute and a 2-point game. Daly stops, changes, crossover, and lets it fly from about 18. Durham controls the boards underneath with 40 seconds. And Justice misses as Gardner trying to save it at side court. Nice job of balancing by Ross to keep it in play. From 20. And the three by Rigsby. And the lead at 5 with 15 seconds to play. Justice with a floater, not there. With 7 seconds, nice rebound by Hardy. Taken away by Gardner with 2.7.
Great hustle in the backcourt by the Vikings, pressing the issue, not giving up after missing the floater. They kept people back. Look at the hustle there and the move by Gardner, who's having a heck of a first half, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, he has lit it up. He's played some nice defense as well. Connects on another one. He's got a good game on both ends of the court. Isaiah Gardner with 15 points. And one more crack at it. And you hit your free throws. You feel like nothing can go wrong. 31-28 from midcourt. Hits the bottom. It scraped the bottom of the glass on the way down as it was launched by Marcus Rigsby. But what an entertaining 16 minutes here in the second district game for both teams. Our halftime score, the Cardinals of Irving Mac 31, the Vikings of Nimitz 28.
Well, what a fun first half. The Vikings and the Cardinals in district play, 6-6A, both coming in with wins. And the winner of this one would go up 2-0 in the district race. Let's take a look at the first half highlights, and we'll start with Nimitz. And a really good night for number 15, Isaiah Gardner, the 6'4 junior, leading the way for this team offensively, both in rebounds and finishing off fast breaks. The freshman, Justice, with 2 points there. Meanwhile, on the flip side of this, we start with the player that didn't even start. It's Xavier Radford coming off the bench, providing a spark, a couple in the lane, and then with the slam to get the crowd excited. And then Davion Devy with the three-pointer, one of 3 3-pointers by a Cardinal player. They had a lot of guys that would score, but it was mainly one character for Nimitz, and that was Gardner with 16, and only 3 other guys scored, Durham, Justice, and Ross. And then on the flip side of that, you got about 7 guys scoring for MacArthur, really even, no one in double figures, so anybody in that roster can provide a spark, and that's the key, I think, so far is depth as we head into the third quarter.
Mac outscoring the Vikings 19-16 in that second quarter. Mac has it, now taken away as a first turnover, and then out of bounds, unable to get to it in time was Isaiah Gardner, so the Cardinals get it back just 16 seconds into the second half.
We haven't seen a lot of backcourt pressure by the Vikings. We have by MacArthur, but Nimitz has pretty much played back and let MacArthur come to them defensively.
By the way, we do want to identify Daniel Perez is number 11. This is he as the pass goes behind him, and Kenneth Hardy fills it up. Saul Allen is wearing number 13. That's a 7th point for Hardy, and the Cardinals with a 5-point cushion. Jason Justice, first possession for Nimitz in the second half. Right hash mark to Jernigan, just throw it away, trying to get it to Gardner. Carius Key with a steal and a two-handed throwdown.
Key's first field goal of the ball game, and just like how the first quarter started, the Cardinals coming out red hot.
In the game we did last year, Key had 16 points over at Nimitz. 35-28, a 7-point lead. Justice with a 360 gets it outside to Durham underneath off the double team, and Durham is hit up high by Hardy.
He's done a good job of drawing the fouls, as Durham, even though he has just 5 points offensively, he's done a yeoman's job underneath the glass as well.
Patrick Durham, the Vikings continue to sizzle at the free throw stripe, 11 of 12. And another one. And a 5-point cushion. Carius Key picked up quickly by Jernigan. Looking for Mathis. Key will keep it. He'll let it fly just inside the 3-point arc. Up high, trying to get to it is Durham. And here's a nice wraparound pass, open underneath to Hardy.
Nicely done over there by Mathis and company after the rebound to find the open man.
Justice, the freshman, will let it fly from right at the 3-point stripe, waiting underneath on the other end. A couple of defenders clear, and waiting nicely was Daly, and has the easy layup underneath, and a 9-point lead for the Cardinals. 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the third quarter.
Well, an 8-2 run here to start the third quarter of play, and streaks. We talked about how MacArthur seems to be a team of streaks, and that's how things started. Running the court very quickly. The outlet pass to Daly, who finished off that fast break. And Joe Donaldson was off the bench, and not just a quick timeout. He needs it all to talk to his kids and get them focused and back on track. I mean, they're down by 3 at the break after being tied after 1. And MacArthur comes out of the blocks very quickly here in the third quarter.
Both teams coming off wins. The Cardinals have been in the 90s twice this year. Nimitz, a preseason pick to finish 4th in this district. Hebron finished a preseason favorite. The Hawks and Jalen Jernigan. The Vikings will have to go the length of the court. Back from Justice. Ahead to Gardner. Gardner trying to twist free. He does, and Gardner underneath his 18th point. Daly stops on Perez, gets it outside Iniguez, and they'll reset it. Carius Key on Jernigan. Entry pass, turning with a short push up short. Getting another chance, big number 33, Kenneth Hardy in double figures. Jernigan, and from the backside, Key was bumped. Also had Mathis in the area. Team foul number 2 in this half assessed to the Cardinals, and Carius Key will give way to Marcus Rigsby.
There's a fine line between steady defense and being too aggressive. And it just hurt Key being too aggressive, and now he's got to sit down.
Inbounds pass to Justice. Gardner finally able to get it, and intended for Perez, intercepted nicely by Daly, who slows it up. Driving on Perez, gets the pass off, and Hardy on the other side waiting for it and scores. A double-digit lead now at 11. It'll be a 2. Durham, with his 9th point, came in averaging 10 and 8 rebounds. 43-34, the lead at 9. Could be more as Mathis is hit hard, blocked on the way up. He'll have a couple of shots. First team foul on the Vikings in the second half. Trey Mathis at the line.
We asked ourselves how long could MacArthur play at this pace back in the first half, and we're going to ask that same question as Burris will come in and give Hardy a break. And it's really Hardy's strong play in the second half, John, that's made the difference inside for MacArthur.
Mac 8 of 14 in foul shooting. And he missed them both. So the lead stays at 9. Jason Justice, perhaps indicating a set play as he tries to get the attention of Perez. Justice, and nobody home in the corner. Nobody touched it, and the Vikings turn it over.
I think we've seen the inexperience of the freshman here in the third quarter, John, trying to do just too much and forcing the play. A couple of turnovers here in the first couple of minutes of the third quarter.
I tried to do that once at a seafood buffet. Tried to do too much.
Did you?
Paid for it.
You tried to do the double spoon?
Do too much. Burris turning. Pump fake, lets it fly and scores. Blake Burris from underneath, the big 6'5" junior off of the football team, 45-34. And they're not going to give Jernigan any cushion at all. Well, after all, it is the giving season, so they give it right back up. And it'll be Jernigan at side court.
Inside game working so well for MacArthur, and the outside shots, except for that one in the corner by Gardner, just not working.
Okay, here's a freshman. What's he going to do? He's going to try to convert underneath with a little finger roll. Did it go over the line? Max ball.
Yep, must have hit the baseline.
Well, he elevated. He got up in the air, Rob, but not really a good-looking shot by Justice. Here they come quickly. Daly. 45-34. An 11-point lead. Make it 13 as he kisses it off the glass.
Biggest lead of the ball game for Mac and Nimitz here in a couple of possessions. They need to score.
Beginning to pull away. Backing out is Jernigan. He pumps in his first 2. On a 16-8 run to begin this half are the Cards from long range. And I do mean long. That's Daly. That one came from Pioneer. 50-36, and Nick triple teamed. Wisely takes a timeout. He was bookended and had nowhere to go, and takes the timeout with 2:38 to go in the third.
Although he missed the shot, he did a good job after a change of possession when they had scored on the 3. He stole the inbounds pass, made up for it after the missed shot. He made up for it by hustling down the backcourt, triple teamed, and got the thumb up approval from Coach Martin for calling the timeout. Being triple teamed, that means they get the ball back again. 14-point lead, the largest so far by MacArthur. And we like to say that this Cardinal team is a streaky team. They may go a few minutes and just look awful, but then next streak they get, they may be unstoppable in and outside, and that's what's happened so far in the third quarter.
Earlier tonight, the Lady Cards got 45 points from Taylor Broussard and Sarah Andrews as they polished off Nimitz underneath 2 more. Trey Mathis, his first from the field. It is 53-36 as Joe Donaldson not very happy at all as he kind of turns his back. And it'll be Jalen Jernigan to play it in at side court right in front of the MacArthur bench. Nice over-the-shoulder pass to Justice. Bounce pass and no touch. It goes our way. Trying to get it to Gardner. Couldn't pick it up off of the floor. And I don't like those bounce passes in close range. I mean, too many things can happen. It could become kicked, go off somebody's back. Just throw him the hard bullet pass. Rigsby in the corner with a 3. His second. It is all Mac here in the third quarter.
3 3-pointers so far in this quarter.
A 20-point lead. Justice grabs it in the corner. It will be a 3 if it goes. It does not. Durham, he gets it back off of the floor. Twisting free and charge on Durham. Patrick Durham called with a foul.
If you're Nimitz, you got to think, you know what, I am ready for this quarter to be over and start fresh in the fourth, but they've dug themselves a pretty deep hole, Mr. Nelson.
They have been belt whipped this third period. Maurice Young back in, number 22. Rigsby almost had another 3 in that corner. Goes over the line off of one of the Vikings. And it'll be Devion Dayton. No, it'll be number 1, Xavier Radford, to play it back in. Looking for Daly. There he is, number 15. Minute 25, and behind Radford, as Daly with a no-look pass. And number 22, Devin Johnson, the senior, in for the Vikings. So they trail by 20. It was 31-28 at the break. Johnson shoots it in play, grabbed quickly by Jernigan. Minute 20 to go. Well, Gardner in midair with a shot and draws the foul. It's going to be on Young. And I've hit number 15 at the line, Isaiah Gardner. He's a perfect 4 of 4. Came in averaging just 4 points a game, but again, this is only the second district game. Drops in the first. Looks pretty confident as he gets the feel of the roll. Misses. Burris up high with a rebound. Now at this point, Rob, I mean, there's no reason to put the pedal to the metal. You're leading by 19 and can be pretty selective. Vikings have committed 2 fouls in this quarter. That's broken up, intercepted by Gardner, stepped in front, now lost it out of bounds. Right in front of a Duke Blue Devil sweatshirt fan.
Or is he a scout?
Yeah, you know, I don't see a notepad or anything.
It's all in his head.
Memory recall.
All in his head.
They're here from Durham. Can we say that?
Let's do it.
Radford,
even if he's not.
To Burris. Backing in. Burris turns, shoots, and misses from 13. And getting to a first is Patrick Durham. 34 seconds left here in the third. The drive and the block, picking it up was Jernigan. Drive by Johnson. Jernigan with a recovery, 56-39. Cardinals with 25 points in this period. They're trying to milk it down and take the last shot. Daly. Cross-court it goes to Radford with 4 seconds. With 2. Radford underhand hits the bottom of the backboard, and we'll go to the fourth. It is all MAC here in the third as we head to the fourth quarter. Cardinals on top, 56-39. A 25-11 outburst offensively for the Cards in that third quarter. And in midcourt, the Nimitz Vikings will play it in. Jalen Jernigan above the floor pass to Justice. Iguez picks him up. Jalen trying to drift over to the left side. Now off for the dribble. It is kicked, and a 5-second call. A 5-second call on Justice. A turnover to begin the fourth quarter for the Vikings.
Freshman turning around, looking at his teammates, saying, I need a little help. Nobody was open. It's like a quarterback being rushed, and there's no wide receiver coming to him, making space.
Bailey with a jump pass intended on the wing for Mathis and batted away by Jernigan. It's kind of like making that left-hand turn with a signal. You finally get a break, and you still can't make the turn. Too much traffic.
That's why most accidents occur going left. Did you know that, John?
I didn't. I've been lucky in that regard. Underneath, double pump, and turnover by Daly trying to do too much with it.
Yep, hit the baseline, went out of bounds.
Justice has Johnson on the right. Here's Johnson. Picked up by Daly. Johnson will drive. He'll kick it back out for a three. And that one goes down as Jernigan sticks the three. The steal by Justice. And underneath with kind of a razzle-dazzle Justice spin move, and wasn't able to go down on the other, and knocked away by Nimitz as Hardy.
How did they get back fast enough?
Yeah,
that looked like an easy deuce, didn't it?
I already marked it down.
Yeah.
The lob feed intended for Carius Key, and it's broken up by Jernigan. There's your receiver and your defensive back. There's the pass and the contact. Where's the yellow flag?
Well, we saw too many of those in a few games this year, didn't we?
Flag happy. Had some games with 90 yards of penalties. A 14-point lead. And backing it out to midcourt is Carius Key. Key drives, and was a timeout taken? It was. Tobin Martin not happy at all. Key
wanted a quick 30-second timeout.
Getting a tongue lashing now.
I think he was afraid that Key was moving too slow and would get the 5-second call against him. I mean, he's got, what, 3-4 timeouts still in his hip pocket, so he can use it. Looking down Nimitz, and well, first of all, let's take a look at the series, and I'll get to my other point about Nimitz this year. But Nimitz swept the series last year after a long run by MacArthur dating back to 2012-13, where they swept the series year in and year out. And last year was a down year for MAC. Plenty of youngsters, a lot of young kids. Coach Martin was really optimistic. What did he say? Last year we talked to him, first thing out of his mouth, wait till next year. We didn't even get to ask questions.
He knew he could see, and looked pretty good tonight. Nimitz off balance, may have been blocked by Durham, scooped up underneath on the run by Justice. He will not hand it off. He'll take the shot on the run and bumps the front of the rim.
I think he needs to learn to square up a little bit. He loves that floater. It worked the first time, but he's missed the last two. He has such great speed. He's able to get down and set up in a New York minute.
Yeah, he can accelerate and spin free. Davion Daly. And fortunately, Mathis was there to save it. Trey Mathis back out deep to Carius Key. 5:47 to go in the game. 56-42. The Cardinals trying to go to 2-0. in district and pick up their 10th win overall. They have won their last 2 games. Underneath, Key feeds Hardy, and Hardy with his 15th point. Lead at 16. Cardinals are led by as many as 20.
When you've got such a big lead, you can take the air out of the ball a little bit and do like they did last time.
Durham was able to get free, work himself around the defender, and draw the foul. It's going to be on Nimitz, number 2.
Nimitz started the year winning a couple in a row, some lower class games, and they lost 2. Miss right there. But they ran into one of the best teams in the Metroplex, and that's Denton Ryan. They've got an excellent team with some D1 players in that roster, and they got beat pretty bad, 66-27.
Durham misfires twice. DeJohn Wilson, a guard in the game for the Vikes, 5'8" junior. Daly, he'll dribble, stop, bounce pass far side to Key. Key working on Gardner. Gardner trying to close the gap. Return feed to Daly.
This worked for them last time. They just waited and waited for Hardy to find an opening on the base.
Bailey and Key playing pitch and catch, and there's a sandwich job by Wilson. He also had Jernigan in the area, team foul number 4 on the Vikings. And substitutions as Devin Johnson checks out, number 22. Side court, Cardinal possession, and Nimitz taking a timeout. Ray Arredondo in the game. .424 left. Oh, last year the Vikings had graduated Justin Sherman and Destin Ecke. We remember them from last year.
Yeah, Ecke, he was fun to watch. He was a force underneath. Didn't have the supporting cast. You know, he's missing maybe one just really good clutch extra player from the outside to help open it up from him. Coach Donaldson's got, looking at the roster, just 3 seniors, 3 upperclassmen, with Gardner coming back next year, and Durham coming back, and then Justice coming back. So they got a pretty good nucleus. Donaldson in his 7th year. Vikings have been in the playoffs 3 of his 7 years as a coach. Played at Trinity Valley and, like you talked about earlier, Sam Houston State.
Ray Arredondo, number 22, a 5'9" senior, seeing his first game action. I don't know what the holdup is. It appears to be something on the Cardinal bench, or they want to get Rigsby.
No. Well, the player that was up, was it Key? I don't know. It was something that he went straight to the locker room for something.
So Marcus Rigsby will play it back in, and nobody open. Nice defense by the Vikings as he is forced to take the timeout. There's still 4:24 left to play.
If the scoreboard is correct, they've only got 1 timeout left. MacArthur does. So it seems like they've rattled off those timeouts in a hurry, and Key is ready to come back in after going to the locker room. Last year's final standings, just to kind of show you the difference, because this year we have a new district with Hebron and company in the Flower Mound schools. Duncanville, DeSoto, South Grand Prairie, Cedar Hill, the 4 playoff teams. No more Duncanville, DeSoto, South, Cedar Hill, or Grand Prairie. Just a whole new group of foes that have taken over 6A. And good riddance.
See you in the rear view mirror. Our first game of 2019 will originate from Northlake. It'll be the Irving Tigers and the Cardinals again. Leading by 16, and a push as Nick Anigua is trying to get free. That's team foul number 5 assessed to the Vikings. Non-shooting foul.
Not quite bonus situation yet. Possession arrow to the home team if that matters.
Key right in front of us.
They've been
Triggered back in, back to Key, and Key with a drive. And in front of him was Ross. That will be a shooting foul, and we'll see number 5 at the line, Carius Key.
Hit only 2 out of 6 of his free throws so far. Seems like Donaldson's going with the fouling technique.
You know, we haven't seen the big senior Saul Allen in a while at 6'5". Second charity is missed. Taken underneath by Jernigan. Going left hand, the wraparound not there for Gardner. And Key in the front court. Over to Daly. Daly picked up by Dejon Wilson. Under 4 minutes. Contact, a kick, a stumble, and be a push. That's the 7th. And a 1-and-1 upcoming for the Cards.
Hardy will sit down as Burris will come out and back into the lineup. And they put Key, who has been the only one to struggle, if you want to call it that, 50% from the free throw line.
One more coming. And the Cards are in the 60s. They came in averaging 61. Makes good on the second. And the 61st point and a lead of 19. Dejon Wilson, side court, Arredondo. He'll hand it off to Ross. Wilson underneath and scores over Daly. Dejon Wilson, the junior, with his first deuce. Contact in the backcourt. Rigsby tied up with Jalen Jernigan, and another 1-and-1 with 3:11 to go. The Cards about to go to 2-0 in district play.
The pace is quite the opposite of how we started this game.
Yeah, it's a complete reversal. Rigsby, and that one on the board. He goes into double digits with 10. It is 63-44.
MacArthur now in the bonus.
Drive, trying to get it back. Burris tied up, some pushing, and referee having none of that. Ross, Azim Ross. Are they going to get Ross? It's going to be a 1-and-1.
No, it's
right?
a jump ball.
No, jump. Held up the both thumbs, so not the 1-and-1, but a jump ball. Possession favors Mac. Under 3 minutes. Daly, as he released the pass on the side, and the whistle, he got it to Mathis with the push before, and now the 1-and-1. And here's the 6'5" senior Saul Allen back in, number 13.
Well, it appears that Coach Donaldson is going with the, we're going to foul them every time we try to get back in this game.
They need a stop, but they need about 10 stops and a score off of it.
Well, it works if the opposition misses their free throws.
Easiest shot, or can be the easiest shot in sports, a 15-foot set shot.
Well, let me tell you, so far in the fourth quarter, it's been 8 free throw attempts, and they've made 7. 7 of 8, MacArthur, in the fourth quarter. And so that's not working.
A 21-point lead. Turnaround Jay over the lid as Jernigan misses. Vikings about to fall to 1-1 in district play. They came in allowing 54 points. Quick movement by Daly going for the steal, but Rigsby got to it first. Run down by Mathis. Around Arredondo. Right side to Key. Winding down to 2 minutes. Here's Davion Daly. 31-28 was our halftime score. The Cardinals, and they erupted for 25 points in that third quarter. Under 2 minutes. As they spread out the corners, Rigsby on Wilson. No hurry and really no need to put it up. Minute 35. Rigsby to Burris. Little bounce pass. Run down by Key. And with a minute 29 to go, I'm going to head back to the line and carry us Key. There's a quick hand check call. Key at the free throw stripe. Nothing but net.
I think they let a lot of those hand checks go for a couple of seconds or so on that last possession. A lot of fresh faces out there now, John.
Yeah, new numbers and chance to get some playing time in the district. Second shot perfect by Key. It is 67-44. Marquentin Barnes, number 24, senior, on the floor, and he's joined by Jaden Nervous, number 11. Vikings trying to get a shot off, and they do. Up high is Saul Allen, his first two. Key all the way, short. Arredondo with a rebound. Lead pass caught. And that's going to fall for Allen. Under a minute. Cards will go to 10-5. They will now have won 3 in a row. And their home record will go to 6-3. That one blocked, and Allen controls the boards with 40 seconds. Just playing it out. Three-pointer, short, launched by Allen. And underneath the basket, Wilson. His fourth point. Maybe the last one of the night for the Vikings. You're going to take the three, or just inside the three. It's short with 11 seconds. Here's Key. Coach Martin says no shot, just dribble it out. And that will do it as the Cards win their second district game. 67-48 is your final. Davion Daly and Kenneth Hardy, the two leading scorers for the Cardinals, as they each had 15. Unofficially, Isaiah Gardner with 19. He led all scorers for the Nimitz Vikings, as Coach Joel Donaldson will reset the doings and get ready for district game number 3 later this week. Christmas greeting there over this holiday break. Rob Woolman getting ready for his post-game interview as we break and come back with it from MacArthur High School. 67-48 your final as the Cardinals go to 2-0 in district play. And here's Rob Willman with head coach Toby Martin.
John, thank you very much. Well, you started off like a house of fire, kind of had a bump in the road, then you took care of business at the end.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we've been a second-half team for most of this year. Once we knock some of the new off of our new varsity guys and some of those sophomores. So we've been able to make adjustments at halftime, and I've been really pleased with them being locked in, be able to execute down the stretch. 8
guys scored for you, so that kind of tends itself to saying you've got a deep bench and some balance.
We do. Something we haven't had in the last couple of years is bodies. And so we don't have to worry about foul count as much as we previously had. And it's nice to be able to get deep into your bench and, be able to play.
Would it be fair to say you're a team of streaks? You kind of have that moment to where nothing works and all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam?
Yeah, I mean, that's just youth, though, and playing off of emotion. I tell our guys all the time, if they can lock in and play actually without emotion, and just be consistent in what they've been taught to do, then we won't have so many ups and downs.
What do you like about this team so far?
They love to play together, their personalities. They're a team that fights for each other. They're a team that really enjoys the process of getting better. And so it's been excellent to watch those guys grow before our eyes.
Good game. Enjoy the holidays.
I appreciate it. Thank you. See you next time.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Back to you, John.
All right, Ron, appreciate it very much as the Vikings fall to 1-1 overall at 5-8. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in the second half, and it was all Mac in the second half, outscoring the Vikings 25-16. 3-shot taken here and converted by Patrick Durham. Durham finishing tonight with 9 points. Right side 3 poured in by Jalen Jernigan, the senior. And some highlights for the Cardinals. Underneath, Kenneth Hardy was a force, 2 of his 15 points. Here's a dish off Mathis and the double pump. Nice head fake by Hardy. 2 more. And then the left wing 3, Devion Daly with a couple of threes in the second half. Daly finished with 15 points. So Devion Daly and Kenneth Hardy combining for 30 points. Isaiah Gardner, let's take a look at some of the Viking leading scorers. Isaiah Gardner finished with 19. Patrick Durham had 9. Jalen Jernigan next tie with 7. For the Cardinals, Kenneth Hardy with 15. Devion Daly contributed 14, the third player in double figures. Marcus Rigsby had 10. Carius Key had 9. Cardinals scoring just 11 points in that fourth quarter. The Vikings only had 9, but Mac opened up a lead by as much as 20 in that second half. So the Cardinals again to go to 1-1 in district play. They have now won 3 in a row. The Vikings fall to 1-1 overall at 5-8. Nimitz losing their first of 2 games this year against the Cardinals. We'll have a game for you in 2019 over at Northlake. We'll see Irving and the same Irving MacArthur team. For our entire ICT and production crew, for Rob Willman, once again our final score, MacArthur 67, Nimitz 48. This is John Nelson sending season's greetings and to all a good night.